So before I got this mic that I'm currently using, I had done a couple of research and I'd looked for, the mic that was more affordable. And I kept seeing two options, and these are options within the Fifine brand. Yeah. And I'd seen that there was this one, which is the AM8 that I'm currently using. And I also kept saying this particular Fifine mic, which is the Fifine K688. But obviously, as you can see, I picked this one because of the form factor, the design form factor, But I now have my hands on this mic, and I thought it would be nice to do a review, or not a review, a comparison between this mic and this one in terms of how it sound. And I'm doing this for two reasons. One, did I make a mistake in buying this one instead of this one? And two, in case there's someone out there who wants to get a Fifine brand, but they are not sure exactly which of them to get among, within the K688 and within the Fifine AM8, this video is for you. So I'll be doing this video in three different phases. Yes, I would be comparing them in terms of the design. I will be comparing them in terms of how they sound. And I'll also be comparing them in terms of usability, how easy are these mics to use. And just for the sake of this video, I am not going to be testing the XLR cable part of this mic because they are both USB and XLR cable enabled. And the reason why I'm not going to touch the XLR cable is because if you're looking for a budget mic to buy, and this is the option you're coming across, what that tells me is you're looking for a mic that is easy to use. You're looking for a plug and play mic. So chances are you most likely will be using these mics with the Type-C as opposed to using XLR cable. So I'm not going to do a test of how they sound using mixer and everything. That defeats the entire idea of why this kind of mics were designed in the first place. So I'm just going to test them using only the USB-C so we are all on the same page. Correct? Great. So before we start, a quick unboxing of what you get when you buy this mic. So pretty much, let's see what it looks like on the inside. Usually these mics come pretty simple and not so much. You get your manual, obviously, it just tells you how to use the mic. You get, again, just pump protection, and you get this gold thingy. Yeah, what this does for you is just so in case you want to stick it up to something like this, and because the way the mic is designed, let me bring it out so you can see. This has a bigger screw, so this obviously would not fit in here, so you kind of have to use this, screw this in here and then put this on here. That's why you get this one. And this is a mic, obviously. It looks plush, it looks different, but let me keep that aside and let's bring out the last thing that's inside. And of course you get a Type-C cable, which is very long. This should be what, 2 meters or 3? I'm not sure, but it seems very long. So design of the mic. Now, this mic, if you can tell, looks a lot like the Shure SM7B. I'm sure that they are trying to design the mic to look like that, and that's because this mic is geared towards podcast, as opposed to this one that is geared towards streaming and gaming. So, which is why you have the stealth mode. You do not have a lot of LED light on this one like you have on this one like you have on this one, and I don't think this light here is on this one, even though there is a mute button here as well that you can just touch, to mute the mic. However, it looks like the Shure SM7, and the foam looks very soft. It looks very soft. I can see through it, which means that it most likely will not help with plosive, but it's soft. I'll give them that. Another thing again that I see is the capsule is a bit far from the capsule cage. That would help with plosive, so you do not get a lot of pit in your recording or whatever you're using this mic for. So I like that they have that on here as well. And this seems to be metal, I guess. I'm not sure it's plastic. It feels like metal. And this obviously comes with a shock mount, which helps you also reduce the noise and vibration that comes with using this mic, just in case you're using the mic and you then touch the mic or you hit the table where the mic is on. This shock mount will pretty much help you, absorb that vibration and not put that in your recording. Now, this mic also obviously came with 2 knobs at the back. It has, your gain and your volume, which is, again, if you're going to use the auxiliary cable cord or port that came with the mic. So there's a port here that you can plug a headphone to so you can monitor your audio levels and signals. Yeah. There's also obviously Type-C that is in this mic, and then this is the port for your XLR cable. Now, obviously with the AM8 that I have right here, now this one is made out of plastic. However, the arm itself is made out of metal, and there's a yoke. So the yoke, it's something you can kind of place this underneath and put this on the desk. Let me just show you what that looks like. So this is the yoke. Now this screws under this mic here, and you can then place this on the table if you want to. Now this does not come with that. This is designed strictly for for mic arms or mic stand. You cannot place this on a table, except of course you get an external a table mount, then you can place this on the table, which is weird because I would assume that this would come with something like this because it has a shock mount that would help reduce vibration if placed on a table. But it doesn't come with this. However, this came with this, and this does not have a shock mount. So what's the difference in the term of design? In terms of design, this is circular. This looks like SM7B. It has metal body and it has a shock mount. No yoke, however. Now, this one on the other hand is not circular. This is more rectangular. I'm going to take off this foam so I can use that to show you what that looks like. So you see how this looks rectangular compared to when you look at this other one, that looks circular, and this is one of the reasons why I got this mic in the first place. I think the design is interesting, and I think it's not conventional like every other mic out there. This has also have a mute button, as I've already done in the review. If you haven't watched a review of this mic, I'm going to put it somewhere around here so you can go watch a review of this mic specifically. And you obviously also came with the same ports for you have your USB Type-C underneath and your XLR cable as well. And this also came with RGB, so I can turn this on if I want and just switch between different lights. Again, like I said, this was geared towards people who are going to be streaming, so you want to get this RGB vibe if you want. But you can turn it up by just holding on to that space. Again, I have a full review on this mic in my channel. Just check it out somewhere. I think it's going to be going to be somewhere around. But design-wise, that's how they are different in the design and how they are being used. This is plastic, by the way, so you get a feel a lot of vibration even as I'm touching this. I'm sure you hear that in the audio, but design, that is pretty much how they look like. Now let's talk about usability. How easy are they to use? Like I said earlier, they both came with XLR cable ports and a USB Type-C, so pretty much you can use this with a audio interface if you want to have better control. However, you can just plug this straight up into your computer and just start using it without having to download anything. It usually has its own in-amp, its own amplifier inside of it when you're using the Type-C. Same as this as well. They're both easy to use. They are both plug and play. Like I literally just take this right now, plug a USB Type-C in here, plug it in my laptop, and I'm good to go pretty much. I don't have to do anything else other than that. So they are both pretty much easy to use if you ask me. So I have this mic plugged up, yes. And one thing I forgot to say, well, I didn't forget, I just didn't notice it on time about the design side of this mic is, you see how for this particular one, let me put this one there, yeah. For this particular one, the way you can adjust the mic is you have this yoke here that I can just, this knob that I can just, screw and, and tighten as if I want to tighten it. That way I can take this mic up or I can take it down if I want. But for this particular one, it didn't come with this. So you kind of have to, there is a thing here that you kind of have to twist, and then that's the only way you can release this up and down if you want, I'm wearing this so I can track my audio and hear what I sound like. Like I said, it has, a auxiliary cable port just so you can test what what you sound like. Pretty much this is what this mic sounds like. And I'm talking close to the mic now. So my lips is pretty much touching the foam of the mic at this point, and this is me at say 1 inch away, this is me at 2 inch away, this is me at 3 inch away thereabout, and this is me at 4 inch away, which is how you most likely will be using this mic as opposed to staying this close, except of course if you're trying to do some kind of voice recording, and I wouldn't want to advise staying this close to your mic because of plosives, so you want to stay 6 inches away. And this is how it sounds like. Now another thing about this mic that I need to mention that I forgot, so I didn't forget, I just didn't occur to me, is the fact that you have the knobs at the back. I think is a no design wise, because it means that I kind of have to turn to look at what I'm doing just so if I'm moving around the right button or not, as opposed to this one. Now with this one, you obviously see that you can't see the button, yeah, but I can flip it the other way around and still see what I'm doing just by looking through the mic, but with this one you can't. I can't even twist this, to make it show, the mute button. But the mute button is under here. So if I click on this right, but if I click that back, you can obviously hear what I'm saying. So this again is how the mic sounds like. Let's test and see if the shock mount does really help you with the vibration that you get. So I'm touching the arm of the mic right now, and I know I'm picking something, but I don't know if it's much. And I'm touching this side as well, and I'm picking something, but I don't know if it's much. I'm going to try and move this and see if it reflects as much, and touch this as well. And I can hear something. Now, I know the question is, in what use case scenario would you have to move your mic? But the truth is, if you're going to use this for a podcast, chances are most of your guests will want to move around, just so they are comfortable. And chances are they would move the mic. So you want something that when they move the mic, it doesn't capture that movement, in your recording, because you can't take that off. You're stuck with that. So pretty much this is how this mic sounds like. Let me switch over to the Fifine, and we can hear what that sounds like again in comparison, to this mic. So I'm back to the Fifine AM8, and I tried as much as I could to make sure that this mic and this other mic are at the same gain, on the mic. But I'm going to speak to this mic closer now so you can see what that sounds like. Now this is me. This is me talking to the mic, just with my lips touching the foam, and this is me at 1 inch away. This is me at about 2 inch away. This is me at about 3 inch away. And this is me about 4 to 5 inch away, and this is me about 6 inch away, which is how, again, like I said, you most likely will be using this mic. You would not obviously talk to this mic like this. So this is how it sounds like, in the most possible use case scenario. Now let's do the same test that I did, with touching, and see if that shock mount really did help anything. This is me touching the body. I'm going to try and move it again and see if it picks that up. Now I'm going to touch the body as well. I think I can hear more noise here than I did there. I think that was a bit more quiet than this is, but I'm going to leave that to you guys to decide. I'm not going to add any EQ to any of these. You're just going to hear what this sounds like without any EQ. And maybe I'll do another section where I then put EQ and see what they both sound like with EQ, yeah. But this is what the mic sounds like. And what you're currently hearing right now is what this mic sounds like with my basic EQ added to it. And that gives an idea of what you can possibly do with just a bit of tuning, to this mic, and so how you can get it to sound like. So this is what this mic sounds like with basic EQ added to it. Again, I didn't do anything much, just a bit of compression, a bit of noise cancelling, because there's a lot of people or cars passing behind my street. And a bit of, just basic EQ, like I said, this is what it sounds like with basic EQ, applied, to the mic. So what do I think about this mic? And what do I think this mic is designed for? Now, I think this mic is designed for people who want stealth in their audio recording. As you can see, you can barely even see anything on this mic, just the foam, which you can also change to black, and that can be less distractive. I also think it's for people who want to do podcasts. I think it's a good option for podcast because of this shock mount that it has, and because of how it looks. It looks like a podcast mic, to be honest, yeah. But I don't think it's for people who want to stream. Of course, you can use it to stream, but it's not something for people who want to stream or like RGB. I don't like RGB that much, but I like to have an option for something even when I don't need it, just in case I then need it. I don't have to start looking for it, But if you're looking for something that's a bit more dynamic, something that's a bit more not conventional in terms of the design, I think then this is for you, because this, again, like I said, is not a conventional mic with the way it's designed. I like how it's not circular. I like how it's just, you have, this way it's shaped, and I like the way the foam feels as well. I like the fact that it has, different way of adjustment as well, but design wise, I really don't like how this is designed, and that's because, like I said earlier, I don't like how these knobs on this side are arranged, on this mic are arranged. I kind of have to fiddle around and not see what I'm looking at. And another thing is that I don't like how it kind of came with an extra thingy that you need to put it on here. With this one, I didn't need anything extra because it was designed already with the yoke, so I can just put it on here and screw it. If I have a bigger screw, I don't know how many quarter inch that is, I still can use this. With this one, I kind of have to use that gold thing, and if I misplace that gold thing, it means that I have to go look for a new one to buy. So for compatibility, it is compatible, but you kind of have to come with something extra. You don't always have to come, with this feet, except of course you want to use it, with the table. And I think that they should have actually added this feet with this K688 because it has a shock mount. So it needs something that, it can work very well with this as opposed to this that doesn't have, a shock mount. But you let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know which one you think sounds better. Let me know which one you think looks better. And that'll be all for now, guys. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends and family. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. And bye, guys.